Hey, what's up soldiers? My name is Greg FPS and welcome back to another video here today on my channel. What I got for you guys in this video is going to be a breakdown of the brand new Revelations Prologue intro cutscene. This is going to be the intro cutscene that we'll see before every time we play solo, and we have to sit through the 20 seconds before we can start playing a solo game on the new map Revelations. And this is going to be part of the brand new map pack that I'm very stoked about. Hope you guys are as well. I'm gonna have a couple more videos coming out today talking about it, things like that, but for this video guys, we're going to be explaining the story because we got about over 3 minutes of storyline information, which is pretty crazy, and it kind of sets up the last map for us, which is really cool. So let's jump right into it guys. We're going to be starting it off with my brand new desktop background guys. This is the house, the long awaited house. Now the house actually looks really nice, and the cool thing about this is this house was meant to be a safe haven. We heard many quotes about the children are safe in the house from Dr. Monty. So this is the house where the children are, and I basically just took screenshots because I didn't want to play the whole entire cutscene. I think it's just easier with screenshots for me to explain things, and it's just a lot easier in general. So the next picture, we have a shot of the children. We have Samantha Eddie on the right hand side, we have Takeo in the middle, we have Nikolai in the left, and then we also have Dempsey. Now the really cool thing about this is this is the room that we got at the end of the Origins cutscene, and before this the other characters were not there. So basically it means that we collected the souls of Takeo, Dempsey, and Nikolai, and now they are the younger versions of themselves in the house, which is pretty cool. I think it's actually kind of awesome that Takeo is holding the Ascension rocket, Nikolai is using a tank, and then Tank Dempsey literally has a figurine of himself. So we go to the next picture, it's a little bit more clear, you can kind of see a little bit more going on, and that's kind of what I want to talk on and touch on really quick. On the floor we can see chalk drawings of a map layout, which is really cool. We also have a gramophone in the background, there's a pod which could have to do with Zetsuba no Shima, there's a teddy bear, there's a perk bottle, it looks like Juggernaut, we have Fluffy aka the Hellhound mother, I guess you could say, and Sam's still rocking those awesome pajamas. She just doesn't change her clothes, I don't think, but those are pretty sick monkey pajamas. And there's also like a dump truck, and that could symbolize Excavation 64, which was where Origins took place in the Great War. We also have a mannequin, which, as you know, it was important in Black Ops 2 for playing transit and things like that. So pretty interesting stuff here in this room. This is a different angle than we got to see before in the original, so definitely awesome. It would have been cool to see more of the room, like maybe a full panoramic view, but it's okay, it's still really awesome. So in the next one we go down to the cellar, and we can see that Maxis has a teleporter pad down there in the basement. So then it ends up happening guys, the 4 main characters, they end up going through the teleporter from Gorod Krovi, and they are up here there, and we see a really cool shot of Dr. Maxis. Now we never really saw what Maxis looked like before this. I mean, we did see a thing on Origins like in the original cutscene, but he was kind of just thought to be and presumed to be just a regular guy that we never were gonna be able to see, but Treyarch actually allowed us to see it, which is really cool. And the reason that I'm a little boggled by this honestly is that he doesn't have a cut in his head anywhere where his brain would have been inserted from the Maxis drone, so that just doesn't make sense to me at all. But hey, what are you gonna do? Maybe it had something to do with, since all the characters are younger versions of themselves, maybe this was also a younger version of Maxis when something happened and that caused all the children to be the same age. So it is pretty interesting. He also has the Group 935 logo on the pocket of his lab coat looking thing, which is pretty cool. So this is where the Richtofen and Maxis bromance happens. Basically they hug each other because they haven't seen each other in so long, down. And as you guys know, Richtofen worked for Maxis. They were companions. They worked together in Group 935, devising and developing weapons for the Germans during World War II. So pretty awesome, pretty cool to see that. In the next one, we also see a picture of the summoning key, and at this point, Maxis is starting to hear things in his head. So he can hear voices, and we don't know if Richtofen and the other characters can actually hear voices from the summoning key, but we know that Richtofen actually does not have a soul, because his soul was never taken, and he literally just has a brain with his body that isn't occupied by a soul, which is pretty interesting. But this could also mean that only Maxis can hear this, because he in fact does not have a soul, but the other souls are inside the summoning key. So that could definitely mean something. Now we go to the next shot. Here's just another picture of Maxis. He looks pretty sick. His beard is looking pretty dank. I wish I had a beard like that, but I can't because I have to work and I have to shave my beard, which is kind of unfortunate. So go to the next picture, and then we see that they are destroying the machine, and the machine is obviously the teleporter. So Richtofen smashes it with an axe, and then we have Maxis unplug the teleporter as well. So this is kind of presumed that the teleporter is not going to be functional during this last map. But what if on the last map, and this is totally a theory, we have to actually find the pieces to set up the teleporter to actually go to different places? I think that'd be pretty cool for a little like challenge to do, to actually maybe turn on power or teleport to somewhere where maybe Pack-a-Punch is or something like that. I think that'd be really cool to see some sort of challenge like that. That'd be pretty cool. So the next one, we kind of see Maxis dozing off, and he also has the field manual for Group 935, which we've seen different scraps of paper around Origins and various other maps. There's always been a field manual that has like journal entries from Richtofen and some of the other characters and doctors and things like that. So he's kind of dozing off, and then he wakes up and he starts hearing voices, and it's the Shadow Man. And as you guys know, the Shadow Man is literally the most evil creature in all of this dimension in this Black Ops 3 zombie storyline. So basically, if you guys don't understand what the Shadow Man is or who he is the Overlord. He is the guy that is basically the one in charge of the Apothicans. He is kind of the lord, the overlord of the Apothicans. So he's the one in charge. For example, we have President Obama, okay? He's kind of in charge of the United States. He's basically the Shadow Man. That was a really bad analogy, but you guys get what I'm saying. He's the one in charge of the Apothicans, of the evil force that is the Apothicans. So let's go. Maxis walks downstairs, being an idiot. He grabs the summoning key, and then he occupies himself with the Shadow Man. So the Shadow Man actually takes him over basically and uses Maxis' body as a vessel, because as you guys know, Maxis did not actually have a soul within him. So then the Shadow Man basically overtakes Maxis, kind of it's kind of hard to understand, I guess you could say, but basically Maxis basically dies in a sense, and the Shadow Man overtakes his body and changes his appearance and everything, which is pretty crazy. So then, as you can see here, like Maxis basically like falls to his knees. He's getting overwhelmed by the Shadow Man and ends up in a sense dying. So we have the Shadow Man here. He grabs the summoning key, and as you guys know, the summoning key is the most important thing within this universe, the most powerful artifact in the entire universe. So the Shadow Man is using the summoning key. He's literally teleporting. It looks, or not teleporting, but like floating a couple inches off the air, which is pretty crazy. And he does look pretty sick. Like, he does look like a very classy gentleman in this picture, but hey, what are you gonna do? He's not a very nice guy. So then he just breaks the guardrail, man. I was kind of disappointed that he did not respect the house, and he just dismembered that whole little guardrail there that was keeping people safe, man. So he just destroyed that thing, and then he goes to the edge of this little cliff where he's still floating, and it's kind of cool because you can see like you can see a wheel like tire, sorry, hanging from the tree. I don't know what I'm saying. In the countryside, it looks like a really, really nice countryside where this house is, and then he just goes, nah man, we're not gonna keep it like that, we're gonna mix it up. So then obviously he unleashes the light, which then in turn unleashes the apothecans, this huge blue orb, which is pretty crazy. And then stuff just goes tumbling down, guys. The earth is breaking apart. There's buildings breaking as well, which is crazy, and there's things just breaking off. This is basically what we see on the outside of Infection, which is the map in Black Ops 3. You can kind of see the like time traverse of all things like bleeding into each other, which is kind of cool, and that is what we see here. So in this picture, this actually kind of reminded me of a lot of different things. There are some things that we have seen from previous zombie maps. For example, if you guys look in the top, it looks kind of like a castle. Also on the stone that's like in the bottom right, kind of that big one, there's also the temple that looks like it's from Shangri-La, which with a couple of pyramids on it. So I'm assuming that for this map, we're going to be going from different like islands to different islands, and kind of I'm just calling them islands, but they're obviously like floating areas. We're going to be going to the different ones and doing certain tasks, finding certain things, doing an Easter egg maybe. And honestly, I think that's really cool because this map is going to be totally different from any of the other maps. Now, we've seen pieces of other maps, and we're going to get into one in a second, but I honestly think that this is definitely plausible that there are going to be a lot of different parts from different maps that we've played on in the zombie storyline in the past. Now, there might be ties to older maps that we didn't even realize, and that's kind of what Jason Blundell said when he was closing up the storyline. But this picture really kind of spoke to me, that with the fact that the world is fractured now. The apothecans, the Shadow Man just totally F stuff up, man, and he is going to be wreaking havoc somehow, and we just gotta fix it, and it's gonna be crazy. So in this next picture we have the Shadow Man yet again, and now we can see his Cthulhu form of a tentacle monster octopus dude. It looks like he has dreads, honestly. It's pretty funny. Anyways, so then we go to the house. We see the 4 characters. They're listening to Dr. Monty, and the Shadow Man is in the back. I thought this was a really cool picture. And then we obviously see Dr. Monty. He looked pretty animated. And the cool thing about Dr. Monty is he kind of narrated this whole thing, and Dr. Monty actually seems like he is a good guy. He's on good terms with all the characters, and that is really cool that he actually turned out to be good. And also Richtofen's good, and Maxis was good until he heard voices and then released the Shadow Man. So it seemed like I was totally off, because I honestly thought Maxis was evil, and in a sense he kind of is, but in a sense he's kind of not. It was kind of an innocence thing where he didn't know this would actually happen. So the interesting thing, guys, is that we don't actually know the motives for Dr. Monty. We know that he's an omnipotent being who is kind of the one that created free will amongst the universes, but he's not really a god, I don't think. Like, it's kind of weird to think about, but there might be an alternative motive for Dr. Monty in this storyline. So we'll have to wait and see how that ends up turning out. He might turn out to be a bad guy or a good guy. We still don't really know at this point. It's still up in the air. So next we have the first shot of these apothecant monster beasts, and it actually looks pretty cool. So it looks like they're drawing power from this huge blue orb, and in this picture we actually see one of the monsters, one of the apothecants, and he has like this element 115 rock, and he's shooting it into a portal. Now there are various portals in this shot, and you can't really see it in this shot, but it was in like a couple before this, and the apothecant beasts are shooting this element 115 rock into all the portals. So this might be calling the Apothicon characters to this. Now, we don't know if we're going to be able to use staffs or anything like that, but I would assume that we will be able to use staffs in this map. I think that would really summarize the whole zombie storyline and make it awesome. A lot of people have been thinking that. I've been thinking it for a long time now, so I think that'd be really cool. And we see it here shooting the actual rock, and then we get this shot of the zombies. So the interesting thing about these zombies is they actually have red eyes, which I didn't see anyone else mention in their breakdown videos. The zombies have red eyes, so this is kind of tying Mob of the Dead and Gorod Krovi into this one thing, which is interesting. We don't know the connection that Mob of the Dead has yet, but I would assume that it's going to be important because we did see a cell block shot in the preview trailer that we got 2 days ago now, that 1 minute video that was really quick that showed every story has a beginning and an end, and also we are in Nacht der Untoten, which is really cool. This is the first zombies map. Obviously we have these spiral staircase and the debris up there, which is really cool. Now this is kind of what I was talking about. I think that different areas are going to have different playable areas from different maps. We saw, the Kino der Toten one as well. We saw that room that was kind of overgrown with trees and things like that. So I think that would be really cool if there's these different floating islands that have specific parts of maps that we're going to have to teleport to and do that sort of thing. I think it's going to be really cool. And last but not least, we get a shot of the house. This kind of reminded me a lot of Zetsubo with the blue kind of surrounding the flowers and things. So it does look pretty interesting. The house is now dark and the characters are now outside in the dark kind of. So we don't really know what else is going to be happening, but it does look pretty crazy, guys. So this has been my breakdown of the Revelations trailer. I just picked out some interesting things and kind of explained them the best of my ability. If you guys have questions, feel free to ask them down below. I can try to respond to every single one of you guys, or if you guys think you know the answers, because you guys are probably all much more of zombie professionals than I am, then feel free to respond to each other. That way we can kind of become friends and whatnot. And don't start random crap that doesn't need to be started in the comment section, please, because I've been seeing a lot of that recently. It's kind of annoying, to be honest. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching. I know this video was 17 minutes, so if you did enjoy, please drop a like and also comment, "This map looks amazing," if you stayed till this part, so that way I know that you stayed till the end of the video. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you later, and peace.